Hello. Got some more hair on the mic. It looks like my cat's hair, but she's not here. It's Jane SMR. Jane SMR. I still gotta figure out how to do a better, intro. I feel like I look very washed out tonight. I don't know if it's just because I'm wearing black. I'm excited to get my lights set up again. So thank you for bearing with me for these super casual, super lo-fi videos. Sorry. So for tonight's video, I wanted to chat, ramble, and revisit child's author Roald Dahl. I am not the most educated person on the subject, but I am curious if you have thoughts and feelings. So I wanted to do some gripping and tapping and just sort of some book sounds, and of course some hand sounds and maybe some fabric. We can even do a little sleeve pulling as well. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. So just mix it up a little bit. But I was up in my childhood bedroom and I was looking at my bookshelf. I was a Roald Dahl fan. This isn't an enormous amount of books to have by one author, but it's also not a small amount, I think. Maybe not. If you're a voracious reader, this might not be very much to you, but I was looking at these books and thinking of it because these were a big part of my childhood. I should have brought this. I'll have to look for it. I think it's still upstairs. At one point, I had this book that I thought was the coolest thing. Also as a kid, I was very into Roald Dahl books, and we will discuss the ways he has let me down as an adult. But anyway, I really like these books, and there was this cookbook I had, and it was dishes from all of the... Did I mention this? Why does that feel vaguely familiar? Maybe I've talked about it for some reason some other time. But it was a book of recipes from different things in all of the stories. And so I thought I would just do some gripping and ramble a little bit and chat with you about this author and these books. I gotta check that, make sure that's not too loud when I bump the mic, but sorry about that. I was gonna say you're not centered, but I guess it's really just the mic. Okay, so this first one, Roald Dahl, Boy, Tales of Childhood. I was super into him, and I remember these are I had read everything else, and I don't own all of his books. There's a bunch more that I read, but I don't own. But I remember this was I was wanting more books from him, and I had read them all. So I got this. This is it's not an autobiography, but it's just collections of stories about him, but it has pictures and stuff. There's a little thing I'll read about what this is. An autobiography is a book, a person writes about his own life, and it is usually full of all sorts of boring details. This is not an autobiography. I would never write a history of myself. On the other hand, throughout my young days at school and just afterwards, a number of things happened to me that I have never forgotten. None of these things is important, but each of them made such a tremendous, tremendous impression on me that I have never been able to get them out of my mind. Each of them, even after a lapse of 50 and sometimes 60 years, has remained seared on my memory. I didn't have to search for any of them. All I had to do was skim them off the top of my consciousness and write them down. Some are funny, some are painful, some are unpleasant. I suppose that is why I have always remembered them so vividly. All are true. So, I guess it's just like a collection of stories about his life. Boy, I really don't remember this. I don't remember them too much. I've read all of these, but I don't remember them. One thing I did always think was fun, I've never looked into this, the relationship between Roald Dahl and his illustrator, Quentin Blake. I always liked that it was like that same vibe. It was always the same style of illustration. So I think this actually was it. You know what? I got these for Christmas because it says $12.25. I got these. This was like a gift set, and I remember. So I can literally remember my sister reading to me. And I think what's interesting is, I don't know if this is what made them popular, but I think Roald Dahl, his stories were so just different. I think a lot of kids' books are so, this isn't really, maybe Matilda is more grippy. This was pretty, you know, a lot of kids' books are very happy-go-lucky and like best outcome possible. I guess it's like the same amount of grippy. It's just like happy endings, very pure, very innocent, very like, you know, and I think that's part of what made him so successful, but as I understand it, that's part of his controversy. I don't know a lot about everything. I just know that there were like a lot of things that were changed, like I don't have it, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I remember there was like some of the descriptions about some of the kids, like about being like super overweight, and so the way he talked about them, I think that was like edited or something like that. But anyway, so I think people were so used to really like innocuous, gentle children's books, and I think these were like children's books, but they were so out there. And this is like a perfect example. So this is one of the first books I ever remember, and like I said, I like distinctly remember my sister reading these to me when I was a kid. This is a spoiler alert if you haven't read these books and you ever planned on reading these children's books, but if you are watching this channel, you are either way too old to be discovering these books for the first time, or just generally not in the genre that would be reading these. So if you haven't read the book The Witches, this is like really pretty, they're spooky, they're like pretty brutal, these stories of all of these witches, and they turn children into mice. The witches hate children. They hate children, and they hate the way that they smell, and very Twilight. Remember, if you in Twilight, they like the way Edward is like cannot stand the way Bella smells. It's that kind of vibe. It's that energy. The witches despise the way children smell. And I think it was like they go to like a witch convention. Yeah. There's the Grand High Witch. Oh, and none of them have hair. See, it's like a little question. Maybe I should have done research about whether in this day and age we have decided as a whole that he's still an okay person or not. I really don't know. I remember it was like, this is a little shady. I know the one big thing. Do you know about the snozberry thing? That's the main thing I knew about. That's the main thing I knew with him. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There was a line or something where he talks about how it's wallpaper, and it's like he says something like the strawberry wallpaper tastes like strawberries, the snozberry wallpaper tastes like snozberries, and you think it's like this like silly make-believe word that he made up for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And then it came out in there was some essay or something that he wrote, some kind of essay or a short story where he basically used snozberry in that story, in that adult essay, to mean penis. So he made up the word snozberry to mean that, and then use that in the context as like make-believe fruit on this wallpaper. So that's gross and like weird and shady. I don't know. I don't even like think you can give him the benefit of the doubt of like he didn't know what he was doing, because okay, this is where my brain is going. You know how there are some people who just like make up words and it's just like a silly thing, and they'll use one word to mean like multiple things? As I said that, I don't know if that's weird, and I can't give a single example, but it's like it's just like a silly thing, and it's like, what even does that mean? And it's like, I don't know, like they'll use it in multiple contexts. I feel like that's a thing, and I don't even think you can do that, because like a fake make-believe fruit is so different than male genitalia, and to use that in a children's book is weird and gross. So I don't know what the final ruling was, besides just like this was a very long time ago, and I don't think it would be well received now, but at the time these books were like just the best. I don't know, what is the decision? Do we still accept him as like a children's author who like really explored what children's lit can be? Or were we like, you're too freaking weird? Not okay. So anyway, the witches was like these, so yeah, the witches, they had like, I think they had square, yeah, he goes to like some convention. Let me see if I can give you, look, see, I love, it's like always that, is that focused, that like style, that like loose style of illustration Quentin Blake. And I just love that he was like his main illustrator for all of his books. Okay, so the witches, it's really cute. I recognize my sister's handwriting. She wrote my name in these books. So, yeah, the witches stalk, and I don't think they eat. I don't think they eat children. I think they just turn them into mice. But so, the whole thing was that witches are in disguise every day as women, and so the protagonist, the boy, is very close with his grandmother, and his grandmother, I think teaches him. Yeah, she teaches him about witches. They have blue spit. They don't have any hair, so they're always wearing wigs. I think they had nub toes or something. And so he almost gets caught by a witch a couple times, I think. He goes to this, like, convention. He somehow accidentally gets in this room. And then they, like, smell him. Oh yeah, here, see, they have, like, these square feet. They don't have any toes. Children are foul and filthy. No, they don't like kids. And then they turn them into mice. Bruno Jenkins, that was this kid's friend. Yeah, they trick him, they ask him to come for chocolate, and then they turn him into a mouse. And they do it in front of everyone. Or no, I think this was their plan to, like, exterminate children or something. It was, like, to give them all or to try to trick them all into eating this chocolate or something that turns them into, mice. And then maybe I should reread it. I really don't remember the ending, but I think they trick them somehow. They do something, and they have, like, this convention of witches, so they, like, do something to all of them at once. This was a terrible synopsis. I feel like I owe you a better ending. Wait, does he not get turned back? Oh my gosh, he stays a mouse? I thought he got turned back into a boy. I thought he got turned back into a boy, but oh my gosh. That's what it was. They turned the witches into mice. That's what it was. I don't think the boy ever turns back into a boy. I think he stays a mouse. That's what, it's, like, pretty out there. He never gets turned back into a boy. So I guess he stays a mouse. That's what it was. They, like, whatever formula the witches are using to turn children into mice, they, like, put that in their stew or something, so they're turned into mice. And so they get a whole big crop of them at once. That was a horrific retelling of this story, but it is something to that effect. It has been many, many years since I've thought about these stories. Okay, we're gonna go with Matilda. This is... this is no, I think James and the Giant Peach was my favorite, but Matilda, if you don't know the story of Matilda, Matilda is super sweet. Matilda is the story of this girl who is, she's a genius. And there's Miss Trunchbull, who's like this like terrible bully of a principal, I think. But her escape is Miss Honey. But she she has terrible parents, but Miss Honey is like her savior. And she's so sweet to her. But you know, I was like, these books that I loved. Oh yeah, this is an example of, like, at the time it seemed fine, but in today's world I'm like, this is suspect. That's right, one of the punishments for this kid was he like stole a slice of cake or something, and his punishment was to eat this entire cake, and he was like, he had a huge stomach ache. He had a huge stomach ache, and she like made him eat the entire thing, and she did all kinds of like terrible stuff. But the biggest thing was Matilda had this ability where she could, I think it's telekinesis, where she would like focus her energy and she could move objects, she could move stuff. As a small child, when I read this, you better believe I tried to move things with my mind. I absolutely took to like staring at stuff intently, trying to see if I could move things with my brain. Spoiler alert, it did not work. But I just thought Matilda was so cool because she was like this nerdy kid, but also had like mental superpowers. Both of these books have been turned into movies. I think most of his, actually, I know The Witches has, I know Matilda has, I know James and the Giant Peach was, I know Fantastic Mr. Fox, those are both animated, and of course Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, twice. So, anyway, yeah, I loved this book. As a kid, I thought it was very cool that she could do that. I'll do a different setup so I can do this better, but I know a couple people had asked that I do this, like, with, like, the camera positioned, but I think just the mic is in the way, you know. It's not ideal, but I'll do it. I'll figure out a better way to do it soon. Okay, so James and the Giant Peach. Man, this is, again, it's already almost half an hour. I did not mean to ramble this much. I think this has been nonsense. I didn't really have a plan. I think I've mostly rambled nonsense, but I think you like the rambles. I'm curious, do you feel like you really pay attention to the rambles? I guess the thing that I should do is think about when I listen to people, and it's so funny to me because, like, I very distinctly, I like talking and I like no talking. but it's very distinct for me because when I'm working, when I'm doing like stuff that I need to pay attention to, I do no talking, so it's not distracting. But if I'm like resting, going to bed, then I love to listen to rambles. But during the day, I listen to ASMR a lot, and I do no talking always. Anyway, when I do want the talking, I really don't care. So I don't think you care, but I'm just rambling. I really don't care what people are talking about. I like all of the nonsense rambles. It doesn't matter. I think it's just the soothing. I am so fascinated by how ASMR works because a lot of stuff that is like hearing it in real life, it's whatever, but something about hearing it through a microphone in headphones or in whatever, so interesting. Okay, James and the Giant Peach. I think this was my favorite. Again, it's kind of morbid, like witches, they turn children into mice. They're like murderous and cruel. Matilda, the punishments from Trunchbull, pretty brutal. James and the Giant Peach, they like starve this child. He lives with his 2 aunts, and they're like really brutal. Call CPS. I remember there's a scene where he's like, I think he like turns a potato chip bag inside out, and he's like licking the salt. I feel very James and the Giant Peach when I'm like pulling out the last crumbs of a potato chip bag. But I really liked this one. He like, maybe it's because like I love animals, and they grow this massive peach, and there are all of these. I don't remember. Maybe it's a magic. I really do not remember these stories. I swear I did read them. Aunt Sponge, Aunt Spiker were the 2 villains. See, this book went away from Quentin. Look what happened. What is that? That is horrifying. That is sorry. Really, really scary. Anyway. I don't remember. Oh yeah, he met this like creepy little man. I don't remember. At any rate, it's a giant peach. He goes in it. There's all these characters. There's bugs that he can talk to and befriend, and the aunts, I think they like start charging people to come look at their giant peach, and they're so proud of it. And then James escapes in the peach. As you can see, it's even seaworthy, and he goes with these insects. And then at some point they like literally, the peach rolls over the aunts, I think, maybe when they escape, and kills them. Very morbid, but just like didn't think of it that way as kids. I don't know. This only gets worse, y'all. I literally don't. Again, like I know that I read this. We're back to Quentin and his scribbly scrabbly style. I know that I read these, but I literally don't remember. I don't remember anything about this one. So they're window washers, I think. Yeah, something about being window washers. Yeah, look, see this little monkey? He's gonna wash the windows. He's got a giraffe, super tall, and the pelican, I think, holds the water, obviously. So, another little book. I'm not even gonna try to mangle my way through a retelling of this story because I truly don't really remember this. Literally, when Billy joins the ladderless window cleaning company, he's in for the time of his life. And this is another book. This was like short stories. More short stories. but I do not remember, but I did read these all. Maybe I will reread them, but yeah, I loved I remember, like, I read the popular ones when I was little, and then I was like desperate for more Roald Dahl, so I read these random other books that were not as popular, but and then it came out that he was kind of a creep, so you know. Anyway, that is a lot of random rambles about this author. Hopefully some good gripping sounds for you. I'm gonna end it there. This was a random one, but I hope you got some tingles, and I appreciate you. Let me know your thoughts on Roald Dahl. Did you read him? Have you read him? Did you read his books when you were a child? Let me know what you thought. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you.